Hello and welcome to Healing Begins Here, brought to you by the Victim Service Center of Central Florida. I'm Olivia Oropeza, the Victim Service Center's Prevention Education Manager, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today. Before we begin, please be advised that today's episode includes conversations about trauma, abuse, and violence. These topics may be difficult for some viewers. If you need support at any time, the Victim Service Center is here for you. We provide free, confidential services to anyone impacted by violence, regardless of their age, gender, or background. You can reach us at any time through our 24/7 helpline 407-500-HEAL or 407-500-4325. Today, I'm excited to share a brand new program that we've launched in partnership with the Orlando Ballet. This initiative uses the power of movement and dance to help promote healing, empowerment, and reconnection for survivors of violence, abuse, and trauma. And it's completely free. Here to talk with us first about how this program came to life and how it's supporting survivors every step of the way is Brandy Godby, lead therapist and clinical manager at VSC and co-creator of Emotions in Motion. Brandy, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about Emotions in Motion with you.
Yeah, absolutely. To begin, can you tell us how this program came to be in connection with the Orlando Ballet?
Yes, I was brought into a meeting along with Shane Bland, who you'll hear from soon, and we just kind of talked about if there was a way for us to collaborate together and build something, and it didn't take very long for us to put together some ideas and bring it to life. That was in 2023, and as of now in 2025, we're on our 4th series.
Wow, that's so exciting to be able to continue the program. So the program is designed for people 18 and older to work through some trauma that they've experienced through dance and through motion. What does that look like for folks who may be interested in joining?
Yeah, so the group is open for anyone who's experienced any kind of trauma, no matter when that occurred. So even if that was in childhood, you're eligible to check it out. It is an inclusive group, so that's for all bodies, all levels of experience, and for anyone who's really curious about that connection to the body in terms of healing. We hear a lot about that through media and culture, and this is a place where you can come with curiosity to explore dedicated emotions. That looks like exploring 5 emotions over 10 weeks, and we do that through dance movement and through group conversation.
Wow, okay. So as a therapist whose work largely focuses on trauma and healing, and now we're branching into some, dance-focused, movement-focused support groups, what are some of the ways you see trauma manifest in people's lives and maybe physically for them, and how are you targeting this through Emotions in Motions?
Yeah, so for a lot of survivors, they can experience a disconnection from their body. And so what we're working to do is help people be able to reconnect with their system and be able to explore stories their bodies may hold about their traumas, about their emotions. And we do that in a safe, contained way, but through group and community. Part of the isolation aspects of trauma are very real for many survivors. So we're very thoughtful about bringing folks together through screening and safety and enabling them to explore where they are exactly as they are.
So it sounds like it's a very inclusive group, very welcoming, in that you've specifically designed it to be a trauma-informed and safe space for your participants. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that disconnect you mentioned with survivors and maybe some feelings within their body or connection to their experiences, sometimes referred to as interoception? Can you elaborate a little more on that?
Sure. Interoception is basically being aware of what's going on internally in our body. So things like hunger cues, cues to use the restroom, our breathing, our heart rate. And for many trauma survivors, it's not safe to feel in the body. So there is a disconnect. And sometimes for people, it's the other way around where they're hyper aware of those cues. Either way, there kind of is a ripple in that connection. So we kind of slow down and build that awareness so that people can learn to listen to their bodies. Yes, sometimes the bodies bring up stories and emotions, and we've seen that happen. Certainly all emotions are welcome. So we've had some tears, we've had some laughs. But over time, what we want to do is enable people to have that connection so that they have choice and agency over their bodies and their lives again.
Wow, that's really powerful to be able to work to reconnect with your body, reconnect with those sensations, and work through some of those trauma or those experiences through community spaces and through movement and through dance. Sounds like a really neat and unique opportunity here in Orlando.
It really is. You know, I feel fortunate that VSC was able to collaborate with Orlando Ballet, and we've had a really great response. People are very interested in this. And, you know, part of the safety is that this isn't a deep therapy group. It is a movement support group. So we're not going into storytelling about traumatic experiences, but what we are doing is showing up with curiosity, so we can, you know, become aware of ourselves, hopefully suspend judgment, and just kind of move with what's available. Also, dance is really fun.
So for folks who you know, might be interested in joining, can you share more about how they might be able to sign up, connect, learn more? What does that look like?
Yeah, so anyone who's interested can reach out to Victim Service Center to get more information. It is a dedicated 10-week series, so we have a, you know, start date and an end date for each series.
So they can reach out to you, they can work to fill out that intake, and then see if that's maybe a good fit for them to, you know, explore, connect, maybe heal.
Yes, absolutely.
Are there any aspects of this, you know, Emotions in Motions group that have surprised you, or that, you know, you've been so happy to walk away from that you can share with our audience as we wrap up?
Yeah, so community has been a huge aspect. It's wonderful to see folks connect and really talk about how they feel safe and in community with one another. The other thing that I just love seeing is a lot of people are able to reconnect with their inner child and kind of experience that joy of dance and expression in a safe place. So it's a very cool thing to witness, and I'm really thankful that we're able to cultivate those spaces for a lot of folks.
Yeah, the creativity and joy and free movement of the body is not a thing that we foster a lot maybe in our day-to-day lives naturally or automatically. So being able to have that dedicated space sounds really awesome.
Yes, and I think that's important to remember too, because trauma also includes growth. You know, we have post-traumatic growth, and so we're talking with people who've experienced something or some things that were very terrible, and they had, you know, reactions to it that made sense, and they're still full people. We still laugh and, you know, can be whimsical and have fun in life.
Yeah, I love that. We can have both. Well, Brandy, thank you so much for being here today, for talking about emotions and motions, and for working to create spaces for folks in our community to come together and to heal.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm thankful for collaborating, and I'm thankful for the time.
Yeah. So as you guys have just heard, the Victim Service Center is thrilled to be offering this unique group in collaboration with the Orlando Ballet. Up next, we'll be hearing from Shane Bland, head of the Community Enrichment Program at Orlando Ballet and co-creator of Emotions in Motions. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Healing Begins Here. I'm Olivia, the Prevention Education Manager of Victim Service Center, and today we're talking about using dance to reconnect with ourselves and experience healing. Our next guest is Shane Bland, Head of Community Enrichment at Orlando Ballet and the co-facilitator of the Emotions in Motions support group. Shane, thank you so much for being here today and for sharing with us about Emotions in Motion.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to talk about this program.
Amazing. Well, maybe let's start with sharing a little bit about, you know, your passion for dancing and how you ended up collaborating with VSC to create Emotions in Motions.
Yeah, I love to dance. I've been doing it forever. Two of my sisters were professional dancers growing up, and so I spent a lot of time with them and discovering how dance can make you feel better, how you can tell stories without using words. And so we take some of that into the studio with us as we engage through this program, helping people share a story on maybe, you know, they don't want to talk about something, but they can move through it.
Oh, okay. So using movement to move through their healing journey, really. So what does the structure of this program look like, and what can participants expect who may be interested in signing up?
Yeah, so looking at how we might want to craft this program, I sort of went back to basics, or sort of back to the beginning. And so we structure this just like a regular dance class. So just if you were going to maybe a movement class at the gym, or certainly coming in to take a dance class through, say, like our Fitness Through Dance program, our drop-in program. So we start class because it has a therapy component too. So we start with a group circle to just kind of check in with each other and get grounded, and then we start with a warm-up. just as we would do in any other dance class, just to get the blood flowing, sort of get help the body warm up, loosen up, to be open to whatever movement is going to come.
Yeah.
And then again, just like a regular dance class, we do some center work. Facing the mirror, and then we'll do some across the floor work to get moving through the space. And then towards the end of class, we start working on a combination. We start working on a dance based on the emotion that we're engaging in. And then we do a cool down. We'll just kind of walk around the room. We'll do some breathing exercises, just kind of to relax the body out of what it is that we've been doing.
Okay.
And then finally, we finish up with some small group discussion just to reflect on class.
Okay, great. Sounds like you've got the structure, all set up. For someone who's interested in joining that has no dance experience, are they welcome to join? Is it ready for, all levels?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every level, every ability.
Amazing.
So a lot of the class is set up as follow the leader. So you don't have to have any previous dance experience to come in and enjoy the benefits of emotions in motion. We have 2 movement facilitators, myself and Bonnie, who's one of our teachers at Orlando Ballet. And so with that, we can help accommodate or make adjustments. So if somebody may be having some movement limitations, we can alter everything to make sure that they can participate to their best ability.
Amazing. So it really is open to anyone who wants to maybe sign up and see if it's the right fit for them. The dancing experience is not a disqualifier.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Can you tell me some of your favorite emotions, or maybe some of the most impactful emotions that you guys have worked through in some of your sessions?
Absolutely. The one that first jumps up is silliness. Because there's a lot, we get a lot of feedback about from participants, again, based on whatever trauma they've experienced, having trouble connecting with their inner child or having distance from their inner child. And so through some sort of trial and error, we that kind of came to the surface, and so we crafted a whole lesson around silliness.
Oh, wow.
And getting back to just doing the fun, crazy things that we hoped that we had done in our childhood or hoped that we can reconnect to. And so I crafted a whole dance sequence around the Sesame Street song "C is for Cookie," and dancing to Cookie Monster, and it had one of the best receptions.
So sometimes, maybe we picture healing trauma as very, solemn, sad, in a support group setting, but it sounds like you guys are focusing on Sesame Street, Cookie Monster, silliness, that there's space for all types of emotions.
Yeah, we craft the series, so we explore 5 emotions over 10 weeks. So we take 2 classes to explore each emotion. We start off with something a little lighter or seemingly light, and then we by the 3rd emotion we get a little deep because we don't want to ignore that.
Yeah.
And then we work our way back up. And what's really interesting when we get into that really deep emotion, we actually have some really great positive effects as well. So people will come in maybe with a little trepidation to go to that space.
Yeah.
And so often we actually find that is the most impactful or the most positive experience through the class. Whereas we think, oh, we're going to do a fun light emotion, and people may actually have more trouble connecting with that versus something that we feel is going to be a little bit more deeper, and they go, no, this actually really helped me a lot, whether working adjacent to the emotion, kind of looking from the outside in.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody has their own unique journey and experience with each emotion, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, that's surprising to me that some people, struggled more with maybe an emotion like silliness than, some of those other emotions that we might typically expect. So, alongside that, is there anything else that surprised you that you've seen come about in these groups you've been helping facilitate?
Yeah, I think what's interesting, again, from a movement perspective, is where people feel emotion in their body or don't feel emotion in their body. Through our group, initial group discussion, we kind of share a quick thought about the emotion that we're about to engage in, and people will express where they may feel it in their body, or again, where it may be void. And so I take that information and try to adapt the class in real time to help make a deeper connection or to help reestablish a connection. So when we get to the post discussion, hearing people go, oh yeah, I felt lighter, or yes, I now feel my shoulders, or I feel more open, or I feel my spine is longer, or the emotion that I came in with in class just connected to the outside world, that has now all melted away. And so within those 90 minutes, just seeing somebody's transformation is really, really impactful.
Yeah, that sounds really cool to be able to see some of those physical changes of feeling better or feeling different through these classes. As we wrap up today, I want to ask you if there's one piece of advice or encouragement you could offer to somebody who's considering maybe joining one of these groups. What would you say to them?
I know it kind of sounds cliche, but I love the Nike slogan, just do it. Yeah, we're all, what I love is that we're bringing so many unique and different experiences into the room. But the thing that I think I'm most proud of, hearing a lot of feedback from the participants, is the feeling of safety and security, which is paramount. That we're creating a space that people feel welcomed, they feel safe to share or not, and should just be. So knowing that this program is helping them feel that is really encouraging, is really wonderful. So again, just do it, just come try it, and see how movement can hopefully help in some way.
Yeah, wow, Shane, thank you so much today for sharing about your expertise, your passion for dancing, and some of the amazing work you've been doing with the VSC and with this Emotions in Motion support group.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
Yeah. So we've now heard from the Emotion in Motion's creators and facilitators, but what do the participants themselves think? What is their experience? Stay with us and hear from our Emotions in Motion's participant Renzo up next when we return. Welcome back to Healing Begins Here. We've just heard from Brandy and Shane, the co-creators of Emotions in Motion, about this innovative support group that explores emotions, trauma, and body-mind connection through expressive movements and dance. Now we're going to hear from an Emotions in Motion participant, Renzo, to understand more about what it's like for folks who sign up and join. Renzo, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Of course. So can you tell me a little bit about your initial perceptions about Emotions in Motions when you joined? What were your first thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was going to be just a regular dance class with maybe topics around trauma, but it turned out to be the program turned out to be more specific and more detailed in a good way. I think that was very helpful in knowing how to navigate, once I started the program.
So the program surprised you in a couple of ways by being maybe more intricate?
Yes, definitely. I think having that structure of different segments or sections in the dance class helped me navigate the trauma, emotions, and feelings overall in a more peaceful, patient way.
Yeah, being able to do something like that in a safe space. Maybe a lot of people don't expect that piece of it if they've gone to dance classes before.
Exactly.
Was this your first experience with dance?
When I was a kid, I did a little bit of jazz and hip hop, but nothing professional. This was like my first official in a professional dance studio.
Gotcha. So what were some of your, initial experiences after joining the group? Your first thoughts about, okay, I'm going to stick with this group. It's really benefiting me. What were some of your first feelings after you got initiated into it?
There were multiple factors. One, the community aspect. So the people are super nice, the patients of VSC and participants of the group. So it was like a mutual silent understanding that we were all dealing with similar experiences related to trauma experiences, and also the facilitators, the dance professors, and the therapists were very helpful in making it a safe space for everyone.
So you felt supported and you felt like you were in a safe space. I know throughout the weeks they focus on different emotions. Were there any emotions that stuck out to you that maybe were your favorite or that surprised you?
Yeah, so funny enough, I was scared of anger and shame specifically,
Yeah.
but it turned out to be my favorite.
Okay.
I think it helped me be in tune and find out about how my body reacts to those emotions, how I hold it, where do I feel it, and both with movement and talking about it in class helped me navigate those emotions I was scared of,
Yeah.
like within myself.
Yeah, maybe prior to this class, if you experienced one of those difficult emotions like shame or anger, it's kind of like, oh, what do I do? How do I handle this? And it sounds like after going through this class, you feel a little more prepared or, ready to engage with those emotions a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it helped me be in tune with my body and sort of have notice when I have that dissociation or like disconnection between the mind and body. So now I'm more in tune with noticing.
So it sounds like a lot of what you got out of these sessions were being able to recognize your own body, your own feelings, really being able to look inward. Whereas maybe we go to a dance class and we think we're going to be, doing things outwardly,
Exactly.
dancing and jumping and all of that.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a perfect balance of it's fun, but it's also at the same time very profound.
Yeah.
Because we get to deal with our own progress and healing journey, but it's also in a safe space and we kind of connect with our inner child at the same time. So we get to see everyone open up and see the progress from day one to the last session of class, be open to it.
Yeah, the community aspect sounding really important here, to be able to go in a space and be seen in this way and be able to work through emotions together sounds really valuable. Can you talk more about maybe some of the connections you've made in this class or some maybe happy times in there?
Yeah, so the cool thing about it is that once you get to socialize with everyone, you get to see them in other support groups or at least motivate them to join other support groups as well. And they all kind of work together, in my opinion. Having this emotions in motion be a topic of how we feel with trauma in our body help us with the other groups and just therapies overall that we get on an
Yeah.
individual sense.
Yeah.
So it brings community feeling, but it also is helping us with ourselves at the same time.
That's awesome. So you have some of that community connection, you have that inner connection, and some of that, maybe some tools in your toolbox for dealing with shame and anger and some other big emotions. What would you say to somebody who's, on the fence and not really sure if they are right for this class, or maybe they're not sure if, they're ready to deal with trauma? What would you say from your experience in these sessions as words of encouragement or advice?
Yeah, I was there. I was nervous. But it turned out to be, it surprised me how it surpassed my expectations. I think if you are someone that's already considering it or are just curious about it, it speaks volumes as to the gravity of where you're at in life and how much you might need that connection with either community or just having a safe space to open up and talk or deal with your emotions. And I think nowadays, everyone deserves to have that safe space of feeling being part of community.
Right. Everyone deserves a safe space to feel like they're a part of a community.
Exactly.
And it's really cool to have a space where you can do that and work through some of things that are really taboo to talk about or difficult to express to others, like trauma, like experiencing abuse or violence. So what are some of the other benefits that you took away from Emotions in Motions that you carry with you now?
Yeah, I think prioritizing time with myself to either read on if I am not in tune with my body or even in my head with different emotions. It helps me be consistent with that healing journey, that therapy space, even if I'm not in a therapy setting. It helps me have tools to deal with it on my own, or at least voice that I need help and be aware of that to the people around me.
So more awareness, better
Exactly.
connections. And you've been through multiple sessions of Emotions in Motions, right? So going through one series, and what made you want to continue your journey with Emotions in Motions and with VSC?
I think the growth, in my opinion, I not only feel it within myself, but the people around me have noticed it as well.
Wow.
I think, and I see it with every other member as well. It's that joy of connecting with your inner child. It's that fun routine with connecting with community every day of, every Monday. And then having the tools that the therapists provide you in the setting. If you get triggered or if it's a heavy topic and you need a breather, they're always there for you to help you guide and go through the ups and downs.
Very cool. So it sounds like this space for you, you chose to come back because it was safe, connecting with community, and not only do you see the changes, but people in your life notice the changes within you as well.
Yeah, 100%.
As we wrap up today, I want to ask you to share with our audience members just one piece of encouragement or advice for somebody on their healing journey who's maybe been through something like you have, maybe something different, just to give them a little piece of hope as they move forward.
Yeah, I think whether you're starting this healing journey or you're already in the middle of it, it's really necessary to find different resources and ways that you can connect with yourself, which will help you connect with others in your life. So if it's trying a dance class in a room full of people that are in the same healing journey, I think it's really helpful and beneficial for our minds, heart, soul, and also just the world in general. Not to be cheesy, but I think I think that's what everyone needs and deserves.
Yeah, change starts with us, right?
Exactly. 100%.
Well, Renzo, thank you so much for sharing today, for taking the time to work on yourself and to work on your healing journey in emotions and motions. We know that that's not easy, but we're grateful to have you here and we're grateful for you being here and sharing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. So the success we've seen and just heard about from VSC's Emotions in Motion support group is an inspiring reminder that healing can come from many places and take many different forms. We're excited to continue offering these groups throughout the year completely free. So be sure to sign up if you feel ready to try a new way forward on your healing journey. For anyone interested in learning more about Emotions in Motions or our other support groups at Victim Service Center, you can call our 24/7 helpline at 407-500-HEAL. or 407-500-4325. You can also visit our website, healhere.org, for more details. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Healing Begins Here, and remember, you are not alone.